I'm Jared Hill. I help small businesses grow and engage their customer base. And I'm blown away at the lack of follow up that I get from businesses that I do business with. Whether it's a local coffee shop that I went into once, restaurant, barber shop, whatever it is, I get so few follow up emails from these companies that I'm surprised that they're even looking for repeat business. There is fruit to be had out there for those that will do a little bit of work to re engage people and stay top of mind so that when they need that product or service again, they're thinking of you and your business. And so I've got 5 ways that you could be re-engaging people so that you get them back to your business either sooner or at least get them back instead of them leaving and trying someone else. Number 1 is to send personalized re-engagement emails. If it's been a while since you've seen this customer, they should get an email based off of a reasonable time period. So this will vary depending on the type of business. For example, if it's a coffee shop and you haven't seen that person in 2 weeks, it probably makes sense to send them a message and see if you can get them back in. People who drink coffee probably drink it every day. And if you haven't seen them in 2 weeks, that's a lot of coffees that they probably had that they didn't have at your coffee shop. If it's a barber shop or say a salon, there's a typical period of time that people go between haircuts or stylings or whatever it might be. If it's a little bit beyond that time that's typical, you can send a re-engagement email. There are businesses that it might be a little bit more tricky, like services that people don't commonly need on repeat within their home, but re-engaging those customers is still important because down the road, people are going to need those services. They might not need them in that moment, but staying top of mind is also important. So you can craft targeted email campaigns for customers that haven't interacted with your business in a while based on whatever that time frame is, whatever makes sense for the product or services that you provide. In order to do that, you'll need some sort of a CRM or some sort of a system that will know when it's been a certain amount of time since that customer's been in. Now, you might be using a CRM in your business and hopefully it has features for customer re-engagement. If it doesn't, you probably need to be looking for a different CRM. Your CRM will have all of your customer history in there and will know when it was the last time that somebody came in and made a purchase. Most POS systems these days have some sort of tool like that, like your Toast or your Shopify POS, or like a lot of these different POS systems have that sort of feature. And I'm just surprised that people don't use that to re-engage customers. If you don't have a CRM or any sort of tool that works in this way, you can use email marketing tools like a MailChimp or a ConvertKit or something like that to set up. It just takes a little bit more work because those tools might not necessarily know when the customer came in the last time. So you might have to either manually trigger things or set up some sort of rules within the automation to trigger based on certain criteria. And so in some instances, it could be a little bit more difficult to set up, but CRMs also are really inexpensive and simple to use and configure. And that's definitely something that I can help you with if you don't have a system like this in place. But if you haven't seen a customer in a while, it makes sense to send them some follow-up emails over a period of time until they come in again and become a customer. And then hopefully they're more engaged and there's less gaps between the next time that they come and see you. Number 2 is to offer exclusive discounts or limited time promotions. And you can do this based off of it being a while since you've seen them. I know for me, I get some of these from e-commerce websites, online stores. When I haven't made a purchase in a while, I might get an email like 60 days, 90 days later that says, hey, we haven't seen you in a while. Here's 15% off your next order. And that's an attempt to re-engage me as a customer because at that time frame of 90 days, they're assuming that they're never going to see me again. And so this is kind of a Hail Mary at getting me back as a customer. Now, maybe I didn't need their products again yet, but that 15% got me to purchase now instead of later, or it got me to purchase now instead of maybe forgetting about them and choosing another company to work with at a later time. And we can do this for our local businesses as well. There are lots of recurring services that we offer during certain time frames, maybe certain time frames of the year. And we can offer exclusive offers to past customers that we can market directly to them using email marketing. And because we're sending it just to those people, it can be return customer offers, re-engagement customer offers, whatever that might be. And we don't have to offer that to the rest of the world. So new customers aren't going to get that. Customers that are actively coming in all the time aren't going to get that. Just the customers that we haven't seen in a while are going to get that exclusive offer to re-engage them and get them back in. And so it's going to vary depending on the type of business that you have, the frequency in which you serve customers, and all of that stuff. But it's very easy to set these things up using email marketing tools. Number 3 is to request feedback and actually act on that. In another video, I talked about how to get more Google reviews, and that's definitely a form of asking for feedback. But it's really important after the customer experience to ask for some sort of feedback, or at least check in with the customer and see how things went. We might be asking for a review, or maybe we're just following up with some additional information to make the post experience of them purchasing your product or using your service a better experience. But we can also ask for feedback there as well and engage with that customer. What we're doing is we're letting the customer know that we're still thinking about them and that we haven't moved on to the next one. Because most people are used to being treated transactionally, and after the transaction's over, it's see ya, maybe never. And we definitely want to re-engage with customers and make sure that they don't feel forgotten after they've made the purchase and are now done working with us. We want to continue engaging with them. Asking for their feedback is a great option. And then once they provide that feedback, following up with them, thanking them for that feedback, answering the question that they may have had, or whatever that is a process of engaging with that person so that they end up doing business with us again later. Number 4 is to share updates or new offerings. There are so many times that I've gone into a business that I haven't been to in a while, and they have a whole bunch of new services or offerings that I had no idea existed. These are things that I might have utilized earlier or decided to purchase earlier had I known about it. I keep thinking about restaurants and coffee shops. Maybe you have a new menu item coming out or a whole new menu because you do seasonal menus or whatnot. I want to know that as a customer. Maybe I've come in several times. I'm not ready for that typical meal that I get every single time again, but you have some new items that you added to the menu. And now that I'm aware of that, I'm coming in because that sounds good and I want to try that out. But I would have never known unless the business reached out to me and let me know about that new product, that new menu item, that new service, whatever it is. Now, obviously, we don't want to be heavily salesy here, because after somebody's already spent money with us, there's maybe a rest period that we don't want to ask for another purchase or ask for them to re-engage with us so quickly, especially on higher price ticket things. Or maybe you're in the repair business and, most people aren't overly prepared for repairs. So we don't want to inundate them with additional ways that they could spend money when they're probably still trying to recuperate from having just had something repaired. So you want to be mindful of this process, but it's really important to let people know of things that you have available, because if you don't, then they're first of all unaware of those things, and second, they may have a need that you're not aware of, and because they're not aware that you offer that product or service, they're going to think that they might have to go somewhere else because they weren't aware of that at the time that they worked with you last. You can also share about these in a re-engagement email with people that you haven't seen in a while. Maybe they're not going to need that service or that thing that they purchased from you again, but you have some new offerings, maybe some things that work well with what they've already purchased, or maybe there's some other things, or maybe it's something else. But if they're not aware of those things in the first place, then there's no way that they can be re-engaged as a customer. So sharing updates and new offerings is a great way to keep your customers engaged. I just highly recommend that you balance it well, not be over salesy, be informational, be helpful, be useful, and then occasionally throw in the product or service so that there's a good balance of usefulness in the content that's being sent and asks for additional business. Number 5 is to use social media and community engagement. So I kind of lumped those two things together. There's social media, which is obviously using the internet to share updates and share things and post and engage with people in an appropriate way based on the platform, and also an appropriate way for the industry and the business that you're in. We've seen so many people do different things on social media, from being kind of outrageous to being just extremely informational. And different things can work based on the type of business that you are, your personality, and what your customers might be expecting to see from you. But outside of social media, there's also local community involvement as well. This might be hosting an event, doing some sort of giveaway, or getting involved in a local community event. These are the kind of things that are only easy for us as small businesses to do, because larger businesses that don't have a footprint in the area but do perhaps market in the area have a harder time at engaging at a community level. So those are 5 ways that you can use online marketing to re-engage with your customers. If you're not occasionally reaching out to customers that you haven't seen in a while, you're leaving a lot of money on the table and risking them going somewhere else. And like I said at the beginning, I never get emails from local businesses like this. So if you start doing this, you will be one of the very few that are re-engaging their customers. And if you do it in a way that provides value and is not overly salesy, customers are going to be more than happy to come back and continue to repeat business with you. And as a small business, we need that. So that's going to do it for this one. If you're watching the video, make sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you back in the next one. Take care.